Hey, people. Good morning. I'm Tommy. Welcome to the Lifeboat. Hope you had a good night's sleep. Hope everybody had a good night's sleep. Hope everybody's doing well. It's Wednesday, I believe. Is it not? Anybody? Bueller. It is Wednesday, August the 30th. Today is going to be fun, people. It really is. Today is going to be fun. And I'll tell you why. Because we talk about this all the time. But you probably have never heard me talk about it like this. I attended a little online kind of sobriety thing, and I got to listen to a bunch of different people speak. And I'm one of those people where if I can listen to 5 or 6 people speak, by the end of the day, I will have stolen something really nice off of all of them. And then I can repackage that. As I've always said, I'm just a parrot. You know, I can read stuff and remember it, or I can listen to stuff and remember it. But I don't know that any of these are particularly, unique ideas. These aren't things I came up with by any stretch of the imagination. But the question of, do we have any control over our life, or are we just sort of along for the ride, and the whole destiny question, right? If you're destined to do this, then what difference does it make what you do? Because you're going to end up where you were going to end up anyway. And there's people that kind of believe in that and whatever. But this concept of control gets a lot of airtime. A lot of people comment on it. People write books on it. The myth of control. And here on the Lifeboat, we say all the time that in life, you're going to get that 5% that comes in that you can't do a damn thing about. That's when life just says, here's what's going to happen. And, you have a flat tire, or your car gets stolen, or something like that. There's no control over that. Absolutely no control. But the rest of it is all you. And you have an opportunity to take anything that is going on around you in your sphere of influence and turn it into whatever you want emotionally. And that may sound like it's absolutely ridiculous, but about once a week, maybe twice a week, I get an email from somebody that says blah, blah, blah. And then something along the lines of, I could never put up with all of the crap that people say about you. If it were me, I wouldn't be able to put up with that. And they seem somewhat baffled by it. But that's 5%. And if there's 150 people attacking me, the family, everything else, that's 5%. I have absolutely no control over that 5%. Nothing I can do about it, right? So in my life, the things that I have absolutely no control over, those things get a section. They're put off away from everything else. They're pointless. I can't do anything about it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time thinking about it. What I can do is the 95%. And I don't, as in the previous example, I don't go over and look at it. Somebody comes over here, we block them, right? It's not really something that I have to spend any time thinking about. And my anchor in things like that is this, the person comes out and says, Tommy Scoville has been arrested twice for bestiality in Canada. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. They just come out with these just ridiculous claims. And if you start answering to them, right, you'll destroy yourself and the channel and everything else. You just, you completely ignore them. And when people say, how do you do that? Because I know I never banged any sheep. You know what I mean? I know that things that people say about me are horse crap. And, if you let that get to you, then you can't be a public figure, right? Obviously, you can't be a public figure. But in your world, right, you may not be doing a live feed every day, right? You may not be putting yourself out there so that bad people can say bad things about you. But there's something in your life that is the same deal. There's something in your life where you have surrendered control to something or someone. And more often than not, it's someone, right? So there's a boss, coworker, somebody in your life that you've probably uttered the phrase, She makes me so angry. She makes me so mad. That person, right, has taken control. And you're literally saying it, right? That person makes me. Person makes me do whatever they want, right? That person makes me. That person has taken control of my emotions. That's what you're saying, isn't it? That's pretty much what it is, right? They make me. No one's making me do anything. I'm sorry. No one's making me do anything. You say anything you want about me, right? No issue. Try to make me do something. It'll be a completely different thing. There's a whole different framework and guideline for how you deal with that kind of thing. But if there's somebody in your life that is making you anything, if there's somebody in your life that's making you sad, if there's somebody in your life that's making you angry, right? Making you want to run away, making you want to hide, don't let anybody make you anything. And the way we deal with this is we have to turn on a part of our brain that we don't usually use in this type of situation, right? What do we normally do? Well, we get angry, right? Somebody says, yeah, that guy's a sheep shagger, and instantly you arch your back and man, I'm not never shagged any sheep. And you're going to pop out there and say something, right? You're going to defend your honor. And you just start upping your heart rate, right? You breathing. You see these people, man. You see these people. Everything gets them completely set off. It was something that you would see a lot in prison because there are guys in prison that just want to push you, right? And they get off to it. There's something in their makeup that they like to see fear. They like to see somebody that's going to back down to them, and they don't want to get in a fight. They just like that feeling, and they find people and they tend to pick on those people. And I remember very early on in my stay inside, thinking the first cat that does that to me, right? I'm going to punch this person until I can't make a fist. I'm going to come so unglued on the first person that does this that everyone's going to look and go, that dude ain't right. Right. Stay away from that guy. He's crazy. Right. That was my goal. And honestly, I never got it. And maybe it was because I was 6'2", 240, I think at the time. But I watched people's lives get destroyed because they allowed people to make them. Now, is that the extreme? You betcha, right? You betcha. That is the extreme. Now, what if one of those guys gets me, right? I'm coming back from the coffee machine and this dude blindsides me and beats the bark off me. Right? Now what? Well, now I no longer can just ignore the situation, correct? Now I'm hurt, right? This person has made that 5% very personal. It's still the 95. It's still the 95%. How are you going to react to it? What are you going to do? You could get up, right? Go take the lock off your locker, put it in a sock, right? Stretch it, pre-stretch it so it won't zing by the guy's head when you swing at it, and go to work, right? Go in there and start swinging what, for all intents and purposes, is a prison mace, right? In hopes of hitting someone in the head. And if you do, it opens them up like that. People bleed like you wouldn't believe. The head wounds just leak, and locks will open those up. The point is you can do that, right? Or maybe get a blade and escalate that situation to the next one. You can do the same thing in life, right? That person says something about you at work. It's not a big deal. It was just kind of passive aggressive, just sort of being a jerk. No big deal, but kind of bothered you. And 3 hours later, you're still thinking about how it kind of bothered you. And then you're running through your head all of the things that you could have said that would have been the perfect comeback, right? Right on the heels. If you could have just said this, and you're going to sit there and concentrate on that crap all day long. You might be thinking about it the following day. Now, if you're a journaler, it's probably going to be a little better. You'll get that stuff out of your system. But what could you have done? Well, The first thing you got to do always is get out of this part of your brain that is all emotion, that we have to know there's nobody on this boat that has not gone head over heels for somebody in their life at some point. All of us have had somebody where we just think, I love that person. Even if it was your first crush, right? If the first person you loved was on Baywatch, I don't care. We all had that feeling of just, you could not think of anything other than that person, right? That person affected who you were, how you were, right? I remember the first girl that I was wildly head over heels, madly in love with. And if this girl told me that, I should be sleeping outside in a tent, I probably would have done it. I was one of those all in people, right? However, what happens? You start making decisions with the part of your brain that does all of that loving. You start making decisions with the emotion part of your brain. And nothing, and I do mean nothing, good ever comes of that. It just doesn't work out. You have to be logical, but you can't. You certainly can't be logical with your first love, right? But most of us, almost all of us, are past the age of, say, 20-ish. We've been around this merry-go-round a few times, right? So we should, in theory, probably have our emotions at least somewhat figured out. We might not have them in check, but we're certainly aware of them. If you can detach from that, and we've talked about this so many times on different subject matter, but getting yourself into the thinking part of what's going on. So that woman walks by and she drops that sly little insult, the one that you really should have come back with the great response to. And as soon as it's over, she walks away and you get that feeling, right? Inmates call it feeling some kind of way, right? You feeling some kind of way about this? Basically, it means that I'm ready to hit this person, right? I'm angry. I'm no joke angry. You feeling some kind of way, right? And he'd be at work and they'd say, hey, so-and-so's been talking about you, man. It looks like he's kind of in his feelings, And you'd be like, oh, crap. In his feelings. Because if you get in your feelings, you're not in your logic, right? And if you start getting in your feelings, someone's going to start throwing some punches, right? Bad decisions are made that way. And prison is nothing but bad decisions. Usually the guy that's a shot caller is a shot caller because he's pretty good in a fist fight, but he's excellent at actually thinking. For real. Those cats usually are pretty diplomatic. At least when they start, like everything else, absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. And when you give somebody that kind of authority, they get bored and they start playing games with human beings like they're playing chess. And they send, this kid down to hurt one of their kids. It's just a sick environment. But in there, the whole time you're in there, you have to think to yourself, every time something gets you emotionally, you have to think to yourself, am I allowed to walk away from this situation? Boy, that sounds stupid, doesn't it? Is this a situation I can walk away from? Because I'm at work, right? I'm in the factory and at Unicor, and I'm in there and I'm doing my thing, and somebody gets up in my grill, right, and starts screaming at me or whatever. Can I turn around and walk away? Because in the real world, you can diffuse anything. I promise you can. If you got your stuff together, you can usually talk your way out of just about anything, or at least talk your way out of it long enough to get a good run, right? Or a good escape. Because there are times it just isn't worth. But if that guy said the word punk, right? Or the word bitch, I can't walk away. If he utters either of those two words in any phrase, right? Then I have to fight this guy. The 5% inside there is ludicrous. There's literally parts of your life that you have zero control over, that you ought to have control over. And honestly, it was good for me. It was. Because I remember when I was getting ready to walk out of that place, thinking to myself, there's never going to be a situation like that again as long as I live. No one is going to make me do anything. And there are people on the boat that are listening to me right now who have said to me on phones or emails, "Oh, Tommy, you didn't need to do that," right? Like, "Thank you so much. That was above and beyond." You know how people use that phrase? "Tommy, you didn't need to do that." And they've heard me say back, "I don't need to do anything," right? "I don't need to be your friend. I don't need to film these things. I don't need to do anything. Every single thing I do because I made a decision to do it. And I make it with the conscious, part of my brain, the part that holds a pen and writes on paper, the part that engages the thinking part of your brain, instead of the grit your teeth, curl your toes part of your brain, right? Think about it. That really what you want making decisions? That's what you want making decisions. Not me, right? The emotion part of your brain, you can make decisions based on jealousy. You think a good decision has ever been made in history based on jealousy? I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably not. Probably not. So how do you get out of your emotions and into the thinking part of your brain? Well, in a perfect world, when that woman drops that sly comment, you're sitting in a cubicle or at your desk. You'll probably have a pen in your hand and you'll probably have a piece of paper. First thing you got to ask yourself is this: what this person is saying about me, is it true? Because I'll tell you something, if the person calls you a sheep shagger and you happen to be shagging sheep, well, then live with it, right? Live with it. Own your mistakes, whatever, and move on. Accept it. Accept responsibility for it and move on. Nothing you can do. But if it's got nothing to do with you, right? Funny example. Some idiot had sent a comment to a close friend of the channel and said, "Hey, man, I know what you did." It was like that "I know what you did last summer" thing. But I met some people in another country that, had a bunch of dirt on you. And it was Johnny. And Johnny's like, "You know what? Hey, man, publish it. You got something on me? My past is pretty much an open book, man. Just let it go out. Publish it. Do whatever you do." And the guy, apparently wanting to scare him more, gave him the date of the offense, right? At which point my brother just started laughing hysterically, because the date of the offense was about 6 years before he had ever set foot on that continent. Now, it becomes funny because all of a sudden that this is ridiculous. This is just a person making stuff up out of whole cloth. But whatever the example is in your life, right? Does it apply to you? ZW, thank you so much. Lots of love for Leisure number 7. The artist formerly known as Leisure Beast. And a little love for everyone who needs it. You know what? Leisure's awesome, so I'm going to throw that up there. Balake, good to see you. Really good to see you. Sorry. So, yeah, in a perfect world, you're going to bust out a piece of paper and you're going to start working through it. You can write down at the top of the page every time, am I really what this person is accusing me of? Am I that person? No, I'm not. Okay, well, then that falls under the, this is 5% that has the potential to what? Well, it has the potential to go away without bothering you in the slightest. A hiccup on your radar, a speed bump on the Autobahn. Get over it and go 200 miles an hour and forget that piece of crap you just ran over, right? No big deal. Or the other potential is you can let it make you. You say, make you what? Whatever it wants. Because once you start letting anybody make you anything, well, then you've lost all control, right? You've lost absolutely all control. Hey, Kathy, good to see you. Excellent to see you. We would never, if somebody said, "Hey, I have a friend coming in from out of town. I've known him since college. He's a fairly cool guy. While he's here in town, Is it cool if he just, basically takes over your body? It's only going to be about 8 days, right? But for 8 days, he'd just like to kind of control your body. Okay? No, nobody on the lifeboat's going to go, oh, yeah, no, I'm cool. Is he at least a good guy, right? Because if he's going to be having my body for 8 days, I'd kind of like him to at least not break anything, No, you wouldn't let anybody get anywhere near you. That's just absolutely ridiculous, right? But you sure as crap will let somebody do it to your brain. And the really sad part is that when we let somebody do it to our brain, punch me in the face, right? Give me a good chin check. And you get me hard enough, I'm going to pass out, right? When this thing goes all the way that way enough, it just turns off your computer for a split second. And when it does, your legs go out from underneath you. You're just like the little thing in the thumbnail, right? You're just, for all intents and purposes, the wire just gets cut. You collapse. And guy chin checks me at 10 o'clock in the morning, right after we go to chow. Before I eat lunch, I'll probably be over it. For real. I mean, unless there's real marking or anything like that, physical stuff, you'll get over that instantly. But if instead of getting in that altercation where you got chin checked, instead of that, what if you walked away with your tail between your legs, right? In a prison environment? It would have had long-lasting effects. That would have lasted a hell of a lot longer than, say, getting punched in the face. And there's no dishonor in that. How is it applicable, right? In your life, how is it applicable? What in your life are you allowing someone to control you over? Think about it. Think about the people you talk to on the regular, the people you have conversations with every day, every other day, once a week, whatever. Who are you complaining to them about? Right? For real. When you talk to your best friend, who do you say, who drives me absolutely nuts? That new person that they just hired, the one in accounting? Well, I'm letting him make me. Today he's making me angry, right? Tomorrow he's going to make me feel like I'm inferior and not very good at my job. No, don't let anybody make you anything. That comes with self-awareness, right? Know who you are. Hey, Snotface, good to see you. Good to see you, Snotface. I always like when Snotface is here in the morning. People would be surprised how often patrons come into the public library literally looking for a fight. They're looking to argue about something and everything. It's so much easier to walk away now. You know what? Good for you, Snotface. And you're right. By the way, those people exist. They absolutely exist. Have you ever heard the phrase psychic vampire? Right? No, it's got kind of a sound to it, right? You could make an HBO series out of that, could you not? Psychic vampirism. They call them the backstabbers. There you go. They smile in your face all the time. Want to take your place. Backstabbers. Backstabbers. Yeah, great song. But what was I saying? See, that one just absolutely floored me. This is why I should never, ever read this is why I should never read comments mid-ship. So what I was getting back to was psychic vampirism. It's a funny name, but it's real to an extent. Whether or not these people actually, benefit from sucking energy out of you, I don't know about that. I really don't. But I know that there are people who suck the life out of everybody they get near. I've known those people. It literally is frightening, but these people exist. If you feel someone and you think to yourself when you walk away, that's so funny. He says when my dog hears cat in the basket, he wags his tail and gets his leash. Oh, he's programmed. Thank you for sticking around until the end before you walk your dog. I really appreciate that. Psychic vampires suck positive attitudes instead of blood. Yeah, and I think some of them. I think that there are people that get their rocks off on any emotion that they can steal from you. I've watched people manipulate other people, and I was a heroin addict my whole life, and I'm watching this go on. I'm seeing people manipulating someone and thinking to myself, "Where's the end game? Right? When are they going to get to the cash part of this?" Because obviously they got these people believing this entire line of BS that if anybody here on the boat heard this person telling the story, you'd be like, "Oh, this is a lie." Like in a matter of seconds, you'd be like, "This is a lie." Right? Sitting through it. Because we have maybe a slightly different but no, never hitting anybody for the money, doesn't come around for the end game. I think there are people who just want they just want to drag emotions out of somebody, right? They literally just want to steal your love or your hate or whatever it is. Look at those. We've all known people who, let's say you break up with them, you have a bad end to a relationship or whatever, and this person just continues to call and text and everything else because you know what? If you're hating them, it's something. If you're hating them, it kind of feels like love. I mean, the person's thinking about you all day long, right? Think about the people you hate. How much different is it than that first thing I said, right? We started the show with. You remember that first love? How did you know it was the first love? Well, all I could do was think about that person, right? It was the first thing I thought about when I woke up in the morning, and it was the last thing I thought about before I went to bed. During the day, I'd be looking her up, right? Doing all of this, whatever. Okay. You do that to your enemies all the time. You do that to the people you call enemy all the time. You think about them when you get up in the morning, you think about them during the day, and you probably journal about them before you go to sleep, right? And then when you wake up in the morning, you got to check to see if they said anything about you, right? So you check all the social media stuff to see what was said about you. You will drive yourself insane. You'll drive yourself insane. For real. And it doesn't have to be somebody in the world. It just has to be a problem. What is it in your life? Right? What is it in your life that is making you something? I'm 65 and stepmother is 82 and I'm still afraid of her. I want to tell you something, CK. Just from that sentence, I'm a little freaked out by her. For real. That's a rugged sentence. I'm 65 and stepmother is 82 and I am still afraid of her. Yeah, I'm a little freaked out myself, CK. I am telling the truth. Cherry, I think there's something to this. Cherry Bakewell says they want to steal from you because they despise everything you stand for, as they are dead on the inside. I think very often, Cherry, that's probably the answer. I think that's spot on. I think that these people are probably suffering pretty good inside, honestly. In order to just be able to be that person and to get off on it, to get off on that, you got to be pretty damaged. You got to be pretty damaged goods. Sam is on the loose. Like, is it really on the loose? Seagull Rock Squawk says, Kath, you had to be like Bruce Lee, deflecting everybody's BS. Boy, I am way behind. I'm way, way behind. No one is going to steal my joy today, says Lene. And you know what? If that was your mantra every single morning, and I'm not using that term willy-nilly, I'm dead serious, man. If that was your mantra, if you got up every morning, right? You go in there, you brush your teeth, you do your journaling, you make the bed, right? you're doing your showering, you're getting ready for your day. If you just started saying right then and there, no one steals my joy today. No one steals my joy today. I am going to be happy. And when you start saying that mantra, right? Do it with that big Hollywood crap-eating grin on your face that you put on when you're just faking it. And watch what happens. The physiology. Do it. Most people are too acidic. It forces them into a negative state. I may be willing to subscribe to that. I've certainly dealt with a lot of them, and they seemed acidic. Honestly, that may have been a term I would have used one way or the other. That is a great comment from ZW. We do end up repeating habits again and again and again. This is why there are people who, they'll say the last 4 people that I have dated were narcissists. You start to believe that every single guy, with a set of onions is a narcissist. And the truth of the matter is that's probably not the case, but sometimes when we get into a rut, Kath nailed this. She really did. You got to heal yourself from a relationship like that, because so often they leave such a scar. The person that leaves such a scar that you want that scar healed so badly that you basically fill it with the exact same person, right? Different name, they may look different, but it is for all intents and purposes, the exact same thing. Annette, that's a great comment. She says, you have to become the lover you want to attract. I love that. I really do. Not dovetailing relationships to relationship. It's too much. Good. It's too much to write here, but I'm an expert in this area. Kath, then hello, Equus. Equus Eyes. How are you, my friend? Long time no see. I hope you're doing well. You stay in my thoughts and prayers, Equus. True story. Dennis N. It's everybody, Dennis. It is absolutely everybody. It's me, right? I'm not. Anytime I'm here talking about any of these things, it's not because I've mastered them. You know what I mean? It's just because I know what I should be doing right. Doesn't always necessarily mean that I am doing it right, but I'm always thinking about doing it right. I always know what right is. Certainly have it dialed in this time. I'm glad to hear that, Equus. I really am. I'm really glad to hear that. Excellent. Z-Dub, I really like I like the whole premise. I really do. It's if we start really concentrating on healing ourselves before we do anything else, everybody you have a relationship with for the rest of your time on this planet will thank you, right? Even if they don't know why, they will be thanking you. I am my last relationship left a mark, right? Left a real serious mark. And before anybody, I'm referring to the attorney. The attorney left a mark, a vicious one, and I am probably still carrying around a little bit from that. I've really been working on it. I'm not even kidding you. I have been working on this. I have written a book journaling about this. No joke whatsoever. I've written a book about it because I would like to completely get it out of my life, but it's not yet. And it still tosses, shade on aspects of my life in ways that, you don't think about it until you're getting ready to start making a decision and you realize that I'm honestly thinking about this person and I'm attributing to this person characteristics from the last person that hurt me. I'm looking for those characteristics so much that I'm probably finding them in places I shouldn't. Right? So right around that time, I said, maybe I should just not do the whole dating thing. Come on, the whole girl marriage dating thing. And it just, honestly, I'm not good at it, right? I'm not good at it at all. And I am still trying to rebuild. Maybe I should just say build. Maybe I'm trying to build who I am still. And until I get that, running like a Swiss watch, why would I want to inflict myself on anybody else? But I'm getting closer with me too. I really am. And my ex-wife's a big chunk of that. And you know what? It was a crew member on the lifeboat that kind of busted my chops about working on healing from that marriage. And I'm glad that the person did, because yes, John Doe, exactly. I'm trying to build back better. And as soon as I get me completely dialed in, if I were to live long enough to really dial myself in and do that, then I would be the guy in the retirement home hitting on 90-year-old women, all the girls my age. In fact, at that point, they might be the younger girls, because it would probably take me to my early hundreds, maybe 110, to fully work through everything. You're always a work in progress, right? I don't think anybody ever masters this crap. Maybe they do. The gurus out there that are trying to sell you tapes, they're usually pretty fond of telling you that they have figured out the entire thing. The one thing I will tell you that I have figured out, truthfully, when all of this starts getting build back broke. Yeah, build back broke. As I try to rebuild myself, and as I start working on things, as I say, you're not going to get it. You're not going to be perfect, but the times between screw ups are getting longer and longer, and the screw ups these days end up dinging somebody's feelings. I say something that I shouldn't have. I didn't think it out well enough. Or it's something of omission, like I should have done this. As a friend, I should have done this. I would have been a better friend. But the distance in between those things that I'm not proud of start to get longer and longer. And the amount of time it takes me to recover gets a whole lot shorter. In other words, if something happens and I get feeling some kind of way about it, I can usually make that end in a short period of time. I'm not gonna be PO'd for 2 or 3 weeks. Yes, the time between screw ups is getting longer. I will say that. And you know what? Thanks, Gaff. I love it. The other thing is that the quality of the screw up has changed dramatically, right? What the screw ups that I used to do were biblical in size, right? It's not one of those. Through this relationship, I have learned that I am worth everything I do to improve me. Good for you, Annette. Good for you. And that's, something, what could possibly be healthier, right, than doing things to improve you? Boy, people, if you're concentrating, if you're putting even a little bit of time away every day to try and make yourself a better person, right, a more well-rounded person, whatever the case may be, you will be a success. You will be a success. People fail at the things that they do and then they're bewildered afterwards. I don't know why it just didn't work out. Well, because you worked at it for 15 minutes a day. right? 15 minutes a day. Out of 24 hours, how much time are you willing to dedicate to what you want to learn, right? And if you can say, I'm gonna do 1 hour every single day, then you can become an expert in a really quick fashion. You can become very, very well versed in what it is that you're studying or reading or anything else. Really, really, such a golden opportunity. If we don't work on the reasons we're attracting these people in the first place, then we're going to keep attracting them. ZW, that is literally genius, right? I mean, there it is in a nutshell, people. You want relationship advice? There it is. There's ZW. That's what we're working with. If we can get ourselves right to that spot where we are comfortable in our own skin, we are without chemical comfortable more often than not in our own skin. And when we become uncomfortable, we do not take that emotional baggage and stick it in the back of the closet in the back of our brain. Every time something comes in, we keep a really short account. So we get back to that first thing. You remember that chick in the office that comes up and gives you that sly comment before she walks off, right? Picture this. You sit at the desk. You get your breathing under control, because the last thing you want to do is walk up to somebody looking like you're feeling some kind of way. You don't want to be doing the shakes, all that. So take a little time, get your center underneath you, and go confront it. You don't have to swing at somebody. You don't even have to be confrontational to confront somebody. But instead of letting this thing fester in your head, where you think about all of the things I should have said, right? That's what I should have said. If my brother was here, he'd be dying. Very funny song from our youth. But you're sitting there going through your head of all of the things that you could have said to this person, and you don't. And literally weeks later, this is still affecting you. That may sound like the stupidest thing in the world to you, and you're like, no, it's not. I mean, yeah, I was angry for a couple of days, but I got over it. You got over it. You stopped thinking about it. You didn't get over it. Something new came along, and it pushed that to the back of the closet. But when that woman comes by, maybe a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, and says, hey, can I have a word with you in my office? Before you walk into that office, you are going to have an entire script in your head of what possibly has gone wrong. And you're going to base it on what? Well, you're going to base it on the fact that the last time I talked to this person, they were very rude to me. And they weren't super rude, right? It started out as a small little thing, but it built up in your head over the course of that 2 weeks. It has been in there festering and getting meaner and nastier. So if you go walking up to the person and you say, hey, when you just walked by, you said this, and this, out of curiosity, what was that about? And I'm not trying to be a jerk or but when I heard it, I thought, you know what? She's saying that basically to be cruel. Is that what just happened? And it is absolutely amazing how fast people start backing up. I mean, quickly. Dead sprint backwards. You know why? Because those people have been doing this to every single person in that office from the very first day they got hired. Right? Very often people in authority groove to that. But you just said to that person, here are my boundaries. You want to have fun making these people feel some kind of way? Go ahead and do that. But you're not doing it to me. Don't play that here. You literally have set boundaries with your boss, and you can do that. You're not doing anything wrong to say to them, hey, that kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. Why would you say something like that? And when I'm struggling about anything, I talk to you guys, and you guys help me. You hug me and hold my hand, and you just love me. Thank you. You know what? Holy mackerel. Tell me that's not cool. Huh? How about that? Home improvement helps the community smiles. uh, yeah, that really is a beautiful comment. Hello, Ghetto Joe. Welcome. Good to have you. Good to have you here this early Wednesday morning on the Lifeboat. We are broadcasting live from the Southwest office of the Lifeboat. Now, I didn't want to do this at the very beginning of the show because it would have. I didn't want to do this at the beginning of the show. We'll just leave it at that. But I need to ask for prayers for Heather Joy. Listen, don't everybody inundate her with emails and right. She just needs a little time. She got attacked yesterday while running by a dog, and it was it shook me up because she sent me a picture of herself, and she looked kind of tough. The dog basically slammed her into the ground really, really toughly. And yeah, it's just so she's not going to be here today. She actually said, I think I could probably do the night one tomorrow. I'm like, no, no, you can't. You need to take a little time. Yes, exactly. So I would like thoughts and prayers, please, for Heather, because Heather would not. She's one of the kindest people you would ever want to meet, for real. Heather's fantastic, but she's this was a very unlucky. She does that. I can't remember what they call that, the kind of running. Maybe it's cross country. That's what they would have called it back in high school, but it's that kind of a thing. She she's not just running on roads and things like that. She's doing all kinds of different stuff. Bach buddy, I like it. Cherry, I like it. I like it. They're throwing a little hug in there as well. That's very cool. You know what, Seagull? That is 100% right. 100% right. Some pepper spray would be great. Spartan. I know I should know the reference, but I don't think I do. Get bear spray. Way cooler, says Annette. And Annette is right. Bear spray has this stuff that makes the stuff stick to you, right? So instead of just spraying onto you, it sticks to you, which is just awful. Hello, everyone. I was lurking, but then I believe I started snoring, and I'm going to have to go back and watch the replays. Sorry, Captain. Tommy Bird, I am going to go out on a limb. Oh, Spartan, thank you. That's the name of the events. I'm not very bright, full of hope. Go ahead, call me an idiot. You know that's what they say over there, right? Idiot. And they say it with the greatest accent. I like hearing full of hope say idiot. Makes me laugh. I used to treat it more sarcastically. Say something negative and nasty to me, I would get a big grin and reply, thank you, precious. I love you too. You know what? That is a defense mechanism that a lot of people do. I did that for a while. I really did. And then I started to pride myself on the fact that if you came at me verbally, I could probably come back with something pretty slick. I'm fairly quick on my feet. I got a decent vocabulary. So for a while, that was something I was really into. And yeah, thank you, full of hope. For a while, that was something I was into. I was ready to just cut somebody with the things that I said. And then you just sort of start to mature and realize that everything you're doing, and you're doing it for your own edification, or you're doing it to make yourself feel something. It's really, really juvenile crap. It really is. But it was great because when I built back better, sorry, yeah, but when I was building back, I had an opportunity to fix quite a bit of it, and that was one of the things that I really wanted to work on. People do get really mad when you're nice back, and they know you might be being sarcastic. You know what? It's a really funny thing too. Do you know how many times Annette? That's right. Has cool foam spray. Do you know how many times I have gone up to confront somebody who said something to me, only to find out that they literally have no idea that what they said was offensive. They didn't understand why it was. And when you explain it, that light bulb goes off and you actually see, you can see the look of recognition like, oh man, you know what I mean? I didn't think about that. Yeah, that would sound bad. And I could have just walked around for 2 weeks thinking to myself, this guy's a jerk. How dare he think that way of me? Screw it. I don't like him either. And how good is that, right? You've got two people. You got the boss who's going, I don't know what the hell's wrong with Tommy, man. He's being a bit of a jerk. I've never been anything but kind to the guy. What the hell's his problem, right? And then you got me on the other side going, I can't believe it, man. Now he's going to act like nothing happened. He's going to drop that crap on me like he did and then act like he didn't say it. Come in the next day like nothing happened, right? Where does that go? I mean, it might go 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, who knows? But at some point, it's going to cause that relationship to erode to the point where I'm going to quit, right? I go in there and I go, screw it, man. I'm out of here. I won't work for you anyway, man. I'm done. For an insult that he didn't even realize was an insult that just started a ball rolling. And now I'm looking for work again, right? After you taser the dog, you need to find its owner. There you go. Sounds like pretty solid advice. Unfortunately, bear spray is not legal in so many areas. I did not know that. But I have been sprayed with it, and it is just a world of hurt. It really is. Even when you get all of that crap off of you, when you're able to, first just towel it off, because if you put water on it, it spreads the oil, and it actually just makes you burn way worse. When they spray you, if you get sprayed in prison, when they take you out to help clean you up, they'll say, yes, Annette. They would say, you want air or water? Do you want to let it air dry, or do you want to get in the shower? And you can always tell the people that just got there, because the rookies would be like, shower, obviously, right? Why would I not want to get in the shower? And the guys that have been there for any length of time are like, yeah, dude, how about you just give me another towel? And maybe I'll just, I don't like bullies either. I don't like bullies either, Bog Buddy. But you know what? Most of these bullies are cell warriors, right? A lot of times in prison or in jails or whatever, they'll split the tiers, right? So everybody on the top floor will be out and able to watch TV and do whatever, and the bottom floor will be locked up. So if you got a friend downstairs, you go stand at his door and you can talk to him, and that's how you kind of hang out with your friend, because he's not out walking around, so you just sort of hang out. There are guys who will go and start basically picking a fight with the guy on the other side of the door, right? Start calling him every name in the book. And then it will escalate until he starts dropping, punk, bitch, and all that stuff through the door. And we call those people cell warriors, right? Because they're tough as hell until somebody pops that door. And once that door gets popped, it's pretty funny how fast people change their tune. But yeah, bullies suck. And the bullies online, I promise you, any one of these people, you saw them in person, they're not going to say that crap to you. They'd ask to take a selfie with you. For real. Ain't no way they're going to, those people lose the guts when they're standing in front of somebody. That's the way those people are. That's why they hide behind keyboards, man. This is the anonymity that the net provides you. You know what I mean? You can be a tough guy, fake tough guy all day long on the internet and talk all kinds of crap. I'd beat the crap out of that dude if I could see him. Miss me with all that stuff. I'm not going to sit there and jaw jack back and forth with anybody, right? Who knows? Maybe someday you get lucky and the two of you end up in the same room, right? Then you can discuss it. They're mostly cowards. That's right. Spent my life your size, 6'3", 220. Bullies attack weakness. Spent my life just standing up and calling out BS. Bach buddy, I've had this conversation with so many people. If you are above 6 feet tall and you're above 200 pounds, very often you end up the biggest kid on the playground. That was one of those things, growing up, that very often you're the biggest kid on the playground. And if you let somebody pick on smaller kids on the playground when you're the biggest one there, well, then you're a dick. You should absolutely be taking care of that. And that, you know what? Girls in school are 500 more times vicious than boys. Ultra Maggot, good to see you. I identify as a tough, rich guy on the internet. Oh, that's rich. Yeah, you know what? That you were taught well, Bach buddy. You were taught well. Zen here in Chicago, I do not make eye contact. If I make a traffic mistake, I wave and move on. These fools shoot. Yeah, for real. These fools shoot. That's a part of the country where, and you're 100% right. I remember being taught that in driver's ed. Don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact. Even because especially in the Northeast, like you're driving in Boston or you're driving in New York, Philadelphia, any of those Northeast cities, Jersey, any place in Jersey, it's like trading paint. Like they take the whole merge thing as a challenge, and it really becomes crazy. And if they see that you see them, they'll just start cutting you off. They'll go, well, that guy sees me. He'll hit his brakes. I'll just literally aim the car at you. So you never want to look at him. You never want to look at him. Just keep like you got blinders on. Never take your eyes off the road. Chances are you won't get cut off. Full of Hope says, I love you more now, Bach buddy. You know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I do too. I can absolutely appreciate the hell out of that, Bach buddy. I really can. See, this is why this is why this channel is what it is. The more we hang out, the more you talk, the more you start to realize little gems, right? You start to realize different things about different people, and it's awesome. We've got a very, very diverse family here on the channel. So happy to be a part of it. I really am. I am happy to be a part of it. Excellent. My dad refused to let them merge. Yeah, my dad could go either way, but if he was refusing, he was refusing. Boy, you know what? How's about that? I had 3 or 4 fantastic inside jokes that were just for you, man. I didn't do them for anybody else. I did them just for you. And now you show up. So what I did was I just wasted an hour, worth of really, really good inside jokes. I'm a little bummed out. Not going to lie to you. A little bummed out. Needed this one badly. Keep writing, making, mending, healing. Bless you all. Equus, come on back. Huh? We'll be here tonight as well. So 5:00 tonight. We'd love to see you again. True story. We really would. All right, people. I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and this right here, that is a cat who is not cooperating in her basket. She was laying down the whole time until I have to pick her up, and then she wants to stand up. Terry King says, I identify as a lurker. That's so funny. There we go. That's better. From New Orleans. That's my favorite city in the U.S., by the way. That is get the leash. Get the leash. You hear that? Cat in the basket. Get the leash. Time to go for a walk. You're funny, full of hope. You're really funny. Equus, please come back. All right? Please. We'll see all of you this evening. Thoughts and prayers for Heather. And, we hope to see her back tomorrow, maybe the next day. Heather's then there's nothing broken. She just got shook up. You know what I mean? It was a tough thing. So thoughts and prayers for our Heather. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you on the boat. Make it a great day.